Hey, y'all, welcome back to Mountain Murders Midweek. I'm Heather,
And I'm Dylan.
and today we are bringing you the Mountain Murders State of the Union address.
That's why I have a grave tone.
Okay.
Oh, hey.
Hey.
Yes, this episode's going to be a little bit different, but me and Heather have a few things we want to get off our chest.
Well, one, if you don't want to listen to us rant, this isn't the episode for you. Just going to put it out there.
It's not. We're going to be ranting about various things going on in our society and our country.
We
at the
typically
moment.
avoid politics on the podcast. We don't want to be exclusive of others' political leanings, although you can probably read between the lines and kind of see how we view the world, and that's fine. Not trying to have a big discussion with anybody about what's right and wrong, but we are here to bring you some of our feelings, thoughts, conspiracy theories come to life of what is happening currently in the world.
Yeah, and I would even
particularly here in the U.S.
I would even argue this
because
isn't
shit's fucked up.
a political discussion.
Well, I mean, it has to be.
Well, I mean, it is in a way, but it's not like, first and foremost, I think I should point out what me and Heather kind of believe. We're not for one particular party.
Look, I'm an anarchist at heart,
Right.
right? I used to lean a certain way, but as I've gotten older, I consider myself a common sense person, right? I can see both sides of the aisles, points of view on various, political topics and form an opinion, not necessarily to the left or to the right. I can lean either way on certain topics as long as they make sense.
Yeah, I always apply logic to it, and I'm for the regular citizen.
I'm for the people.
I'm for the people.
But I'm also for burning the shit down and seeing what plants will grow from the ashes. So I've become an anarchist late in life.
So I personally believe the entire system's broken.
It is.
One party is not better.
Burn it down.
One party's not better than the other.
Because it's not one party or two parties, Dylan. It's one party. It is a party of one, and they are essentially working together to create a bubble of wealth at the top, pad their rich friends' pockets, and fuck over the workers. They want a feudal system. They want lords and serfs. They want us to bow to our corporate overlords. They all do.
Okay, see, that's I believe that completely. It's two wings on the same bird, and it's a club, and you're not in it.
And if you're still arguing about the left or the right, then that's your problem, because neither one is serving you. They aren't here to help you. They are not the party of the people anymore. They don't care about you.
No, it's a corporatocracy.
As soon as you, as an American citizen, which I know we have foreigners listening in, and they might agree with us, they might disagree with us, but as soon as we Americans start to realize that the political system as it is, these parties don't give a fuck about us, they do not care, the better off we will be.
Yes, that's the heart of it right there. As soon as you realize or start thinking, concentrating on the fact that the entire system's broken, I don't know that we can vote our way out of this. And that's where it comes in, the anarchist note comes in. I believe until the system crumbles possibly under its own weight, because these pressures we're feeling right now, economic pressures, wage pressures, cost of living pressures, inflation, that we cannot continue this course.
Well, the system of capitalism, and now predatory capitalism as we have it, is set up to make people feel lonely and isolated, when the reality is we should be a collective body.
Yes.
On the low end.
We should all
be workers. We should all
yes.
unite and realize we are not alone in this, and we can collectively organize and band together. But capitalism has made us feel isolated and alone. And this American idea of individualism has created this in us. That we no longer have a sense of community. We see a community or a group, groups, that's bad. Oh, that's communism. That's terrible. Oh, we can't have that, right?
Oh, yeah.
That we can't have anything like that. It's just all for one. But that all for one, that greed, that me is what's fucking destroying us.
Okay, so let's move on.
Okay.
Let's move on to some of the major issues going on right now that have us a bit flustered and worried here at Mountain Murders.
Well, Dylan, it's been about a week since the deadly shooting in Texas. I believe just about everybody's heard of this. 19 children, 2 adults were killed by teenage gunmen.
It's disgusting.
It's
I
an
mean,
absolute atrocity.
yes.
Heartbreaking. In the last 7 days, there have been 17 new mass shootings across the country, according to the independent research group Gun Violence Archive. That's about 2.4 mass shootings a day in a country that has not stopped grieving for the victims of the Texas shooting or that massacre in Buffalo, New York that happened May 14th.
Yeah, and many of those happened in a 3-day span over the Memorial Day weekend. You were telling me this morning. I was like, no, there's no, because I honestly avoid mainstream media of all times.
17 shootings in a week, Dylan.
What's going on? What's wrong with people? What's the failure here? And
There's been a total of 228 mass shootings this year, with 27 of those taking place in schools.
okay. So let's start with there in Texas. Okay, that was a big one. Obviously, elementary school kids, it's the worst of the worst, and all victims of mass shootings. It's horrible. I mean, it's one of the craziest situations to end up in and be killed in my opinion. This random violence. You're just at a grocery store, you're just at a house of worship, you're in school, whatever, and then all of a sudden there's someone there with a gun in a place where typically no one has a gun, and they're shooting at you just randomly. It's fucking scary, right? It's one of the scariest things I could imagine for anyone. So the police were already onto this guy, right? This is the reports of the way I see it. They were chasing him because he had killed his grandmother. Okay? He wrecks, gets out of the vehicle, and runs into the school. Okay? I could be wrong. I have not studied this. I'm no expert, but this is the way I'm seeing the reports. Then the police surround the school basically, wait for 40 minutes, waiting for a tactical operations unit, whatever. They got more gear, more training. It's basically SWAT, whatever you want to call it.
Militarized police.
Militarized police unit. They're waiting there. All these policemen around this school wait for nearly an hour to go in this school and stop this kid. Was he 16?
No, I think he was 18.
18-year-old kid with a gun and all this ammunition. And they stay outside the school waiting for nearly an hour for some operational unit to show up, specialized unit to show up. What are your feelings of that?
That's some bullshit.
It does not add up for me.
Okay. I'm going to piss people off with this. The Blue Lives Matter crowd. The Back the Blue crowd, right? Why should I back fucking police that are too chicken shit to do their fucking job and go in a school and protect children? They wouldn't let parents in there. They arrested a woman who was trying to get in the school to get her kids. She was cuffed. She knew an officer, talked him into letting her go, and then she fucking bolted in the school and got her kids out.
There's reports of parents being detained, reports of parents being tased or threatened with being tased, and I've seen videos taken from the scene.
You'd have to tase me. You'd have to shoot me because I would fucking be butting heads with a cop trying to get in that building.
I've seen videos.
When it comes to your kids, I get that, there's the situation unfolding. But when it comes to our kids, people will do some crazy shit to get at their kids, risk their own life to get in there and protect their children. And to have these officers put those parents in cuffs
while they're waiting outside. And I've seen these videos. I'm sure a lot of other people have seen them taken at the scene with people's phones, them pleading with officers, go in there, do something. These cops, they're in full gear. I'm sorry, you might be waiting.
Where was it? Parkland High School that the school resource officer didn't do anything either? That he just hid and was afraid to try to do something?
These cops are in full gear. I'm sorry, you might be waiting for the guys who have cooler, bigger stuff than yours, but you already have a vest. You have multiple weapons on your persons. Many of them had rifles in their hand from their trunks because typically cops have bigger, better weapons in their trunks now. since the LA shooting there with those armed robbers caught police completely off guard there with the
Well, there's
firepower.
how many of you and one of him?
They're pleading with them, like, why aren't you going in, or let us go in? I don't have a gun, but I'll go. These parents pleading, these cops or their commander or whatever told everybody to stand down. I don't understand. In our area, if there's any type of violence or a car chase or a suspect on the loose of any type, even without knowing he has a gun and he's just killed someone, which was the case here, they put schools in the area on lockdown.
Always.
The administrators lock all the doors.
They do.
They go into their possible active shooter lockdown mode, and it's happened multiple times here in our very tiny community. Why did that not happen in this area when you're actively chasing a known killer, a suspected killer who has already fired on police while they're chasing him? Okay? Why were the schools not locked down? Number one. Once he gets out, Rex runs into the school, why do you not actively on his fucking heels? Right? Why aren't you coming out of your car gunning this fucking piece of shit down? Anything to stop him from getting in that school, right? I don't understand. It does not make sense to me.
It makes sense to me.
That's where we're going with this.
Because it's all by design.
And
this is being done for a reason.
And I know some people out there might be expecting us to flip over to, oh, you got to take everybody's guns away, but that's not where we're going with this. That's not where we're going with this.
Well, I have some thoughts on that. Don't speak for me. You speak for yourself, Dylan.
I'm speaking for Mountain Murders.
You speak for yourself, bitch. I am Mountain Murders.
Well, okay, you can
Okay.
Explain your thoughts.
Okay. Before we get into that, this guy, this piece of shitbird, I'm not going to say his name because I'm not
Don't.
trying to give him publicity.
Never say a
'cause he's
mass shooter's
fucking piece
name.
of shit.
Never.
Was online in the months before he killed 19 children in an elementary school, threatening girls and young women. He was sending angry messages, photos of guns. If these girls and women did not respond how he wanted, he threatened to rape them, kidnap them, and then laughed it off like it was some kind of big joke. Some of these threats seemed vague, is what the women on these social media apps were saying. And so, of course, they didn't report it because they're like, well, I mean, it was kind of vague. And also, this is just the world that we live in. One of the girls actually said when he had been creepy and threatening, that's just, quote, how online is.
Okay, well, we know about the toxic online culture. That's
so
sad.
we have this blend of rage, misogyny happening months before he does this.
Okay, so no red flags there.
No red flags there, right?
Okay, am I mistaken, or did he have a history of mental health issues?
I believe some shit has, come out. Like his parents are like, well, he had problems. Well, you know what? A fucking lot of us have problems.
Okay.
It's not an excuse.
Okay, so how does all right, so I'm not for taking everyone's guns away. All right? I don't think that's the heart of the issue, personally, in these situations. If there was not any guns available, these people that lash out would find other ways to harm the public, right? Was it Waukesha? Is that how you say that?
Waukesha.
Waukesha, Wisconsin? The Christmas parade, the guy drove through there, injured and killed
Waukesha.
up to 65 people injured or killed, right? So with a vehicle, right? Are we going to take all the cars away? And I know these might sound like dumb conversations and reasonings that you've seen on Facebook or online and that's one part of the problem is we constantly talk about this shit, but no one's willing to compromise on their beliefs or goals to get some kind of progress on these on these big, huge situations and issues.
Well, Dylan, I would like to get back to talking about this boy.
Okay.
This shitbird before you get started on that.
Then that's fine.
Okay. So on this Yubo app, which is one of the main ways he used to communicate with women and girls.
Wow, I've never heard of that one.
Well, you can share, I guess it's like a real-time chat rooms. They have panels. You can share messages, videos. It's supposed to be the digital equivalent of a real-world hangout because, it's just so hard for us to get out in the world and hang out now, I guess.
It's true.
Which is part of the fucking problem. Okay. This shitbird would strike up conversations, follow often these women onto other platforms like Instagram. There he could send more direct messages. But over time, they started seeing a darker side of him. He was posting images of dead cats. He was texting strange messages and joking about sexual assault. there was a live chat video of him, and he was recorded saying everyone in this world deserves to get raped.
Wow.
He made aggressive sexual comments to young women. He sent death threats after a panel in January, and nothing was done about it. Nothing.
Yeah, we have all
Then
these.
you get into this discussion about these community standards, right?
Yeah.
The government pushing for like hate speech and bullying and all that shit to, be taken off social media, which is twofold. I see it as, okay, it's a private company, they can do what they want, right? But then two, social media has almost become like a public utility.
Yes.
So if you're regulating free speech, I hear time and time again TikTokers talk about somebody can get on there and make a crazy ass video. Like there was this trend where these young men were like, what if I took you on a date and then bashed your brains in with a hammer?
Raped and murdered you.
Yeah.
Playing some weird song.
Yeah, played this weird song, and they were like laughing and thought it was hilarious. Those videos would not get taken down. But female TikTokers, or male TikTokers, but it was a lot of females, replying to that, saying like, this is disturbing and disgusting.
Wrong.
This is horrible. Their videos would get taken down from bullying.
But then the original disgusting video would continue to be up.
Yeah.
Okay, see, that doesn't make sense
Threatening
to me.
and misogynistic.
That doesn't make sense to me. Or
so you get into this issue of, should social media be regulated?
Well, then you get into censorship. And what happens with censorship is at first they censor the bad people, the really, truly bad people, Holocaust deniers, people saying horrible things to women or threatening people. Or, that's the ones they go for first, right? Maybe in a perfect world, it sounds like they're not even doing that properly. But then they come for you. What's next? Is it my political dissent? Is it me saying that I think Joe Biden's a fucking slobbering idiot and I can't believe that anybody is okay with it, or Republican or Democrat is okay with this person who's obviously in cognitive failure being the leader of our country? And that's not a slight or a defense for anything besides what I see as a human being.
Well, no, because I hated Trump too, and he was a piece of shit.
Well, no, you know what I'm saying?
I hate them all.
Well, I'm saying
they don't give me any person that I feel like is capable of leading this country to any place but fucking sudden death.
Do you get it? How in these other countries we see these younger, charismatic, like smart, very put together and well-spoken leaders, male and female, and this is what we get. This is what comes out of the trash chute of our political fucking system on any side. Just disgusting dinosaurs who don't have a fucking clue, but they're hundreds of millionaires.
Right. So back to this. Social media, should it be regulated? Because then it's the online community where you get a lot of these, and it's young men. It's mostly males. There are few cases of female shooters, mass shooters. There are some, but it's pretty limited, right?
My God, you'd have to almost go.
Well,
I hate Mondays.
Well, there's like Amy Bishop,
yeah,
in Alabama. You've got Brenda Spencer, the I Hate Mondays teenager,
right?
We covered one on Patreon not that long ago.
It's very small percentage.
Very small percentage. So let's say majority men. I mean, that's facts.
Young
men, mass shooters, and a lot of it is, they're being radicalized online. They're finding these groups where, speech isn't regulated, and they're being sort of indoctrinated into these radical ideas, misogyny, they hate women, they're racist, they're trying to cleanse the world of whatever, the Buffalo shooter kid, la la la.
So you're describing basically early on 4chan. That's what people argued was the problem with 4chan. Totally unregulated. You could post anything you want. You go there for the gruesome, horror content, the murder content, these crazy videos, pictures. And this toxic culture you're describing really flourished, in there. And then people that were there because they appreciated the unregulated, uncontrolled, no censorship. Just, hey, if I want to make an off-color joke, or, maybe I don't want to be PC all the time. I just want to be funny and make some dumbass joke. They were there for that. But then there was this other underlying current of evil is really the word to describe it, of just the worst, most depraved part of humanity that kind of took over in these areas.
Well, then you have this Yubo where this shitbird is there. He's making these sick jokes. I hope you get raped. I hope you get murdered. And nothing's happening to him. So again, it's these unregulated, being able to say whatever you fucking want. These unregulated chat rooms. There's no community standards. You can just say crazy shit and nothing's going to happen. So, do we regulate social media or do we not? I mean, it seems to definitely be feeding into the problems. And at the end of the day, what it boils down to, I think, is you've got people you're very isolated. I mean, the digital equivalent of a real world hangout.
It's not.
That line right there. When you take people and you've isolated our youth, our teenagers, our kids to the point they don't go outside and play anymore because there's fucking buildings everywhere.
Right.
Right? You've scared parents into thinking there's a predator on every corner.
For decades.
Right? You're subjecting these kids to this world where online is the only outlet they have and they're alone, isolated. I mean, that's the fucking problem. And I guess the internet's here to stay, so there's not a lot we can do about it. But I just think as a society, we need to reevaluate like the damage that internet is having on our fucking kids.
We yet fully realize the damage and the change.
And I'm not saying the internet is responsible for mass shootings, but I am saying it's part of the problem.
Well, I think it's easy to say that social media in particular, major component of the internet that a lot of us interact with daily in one form or another, it's certainly become a tool to destroy the art of conversation and the exchange of information between two human beings. Because I think you have to look at the root of how humans communicate. It's not just about sending a text back and forth. That's not truly exchanging. You have verbal cues. You have nonverbal cues. You have people's facial.
We are social creatures.
We're social creatures,
We lived from primitive times, the earliest humans, in group settings.
Right.
We were communal people.
Yes.
We had a social structure.
And I think it's safe to say that many people, even in small ways, different online than you ever would in someone's fucking face. You're not going to talk to me. If you talk to me like that, even Heather gets it on just dumbass, rude comments on content. You're making some content. It's just some basic stuff. Nothing, no hot takes, nothing, no reason for you to come.
Informative, educational.
Just informative, fun, light stuff. And people come in there with just the grossest, meanest shit. And you know what? If you just said that to her face, you would probably have to defend yourself. You would find out which one of us can whoop the other one's ass. And there would be consequences for your words, right? Your words and what you're saying to me, be it good or bad. And that's just, when you take that away off the table, that's when people get so fucking trashy. It's disgusting watching people on social media.
Look, I troll people, but I'm telling you, I don't say anything to somebody on social media that I won't say to them in real life, because I'm a troll in real life.
Well, and when you troll people, it's because they already came at you. You don't just randomly go around fucking shitting on people.
I mean, not typically, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's gutting what it is to communicate.
Well, I'm just saying the internet gave a lot of pussies out there this false sense of like, I'm a tough person.
Yeah, it's the keyboard warrior.
Badass, and it's like, no, you're not.
It's the keyboard warriors, right?
Because I could look at you with a dirty look and you'd run and cry. Like,
well, see, my problem with censorship is who's doing the censoring.
Well, there's that.
Now we see our government pressuring these private companies. If a private company has a board or a group who decides something to be censored, are they giving that person due process? Are they considering the truth?
I don't know if we should use the word censorship, because I think that's more of like when the government is censoring things. But I mean, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, they're not. Are they considering free speech? Are they considering our rights that this country's built on? You know what I mean? Or are they, are they being pressured by the government to, get rid of this because the government doesn't like what that group of people's saying? Because that's quickly what it becomes. That's what it's already become. After the 2016 election, in my opinion, they have locked the internet down. The internet's changed since then because no matter what party you were going for, they could not control the narrative. They could not control the spin the way they wanted to. And I think it's pretty obvious in this last election that they've wrapped their fingers of control around those levers.
Right.
Yeah. So okay, let's
So,
get.
okay, I'm bringing that point home that this guy clearly had fucking issues and was making threats online, and there were a lot of red flags flying when it came to this kid. This
Right.
man, this piece of shit.
Yeah, and if you can get censored for saying people are trash, you've gotten kicked off Facebook for that. Why is there no algorithm out there that doesn't kick this kid's picture up to fucking police? I'm sorry. If you go online, make these extreme, crazy fucking statements and threaten people left and right, sending pictures of guns to people, threatening women with rape, or I'll just shoot you. Why does that algorithm not kick that up into some other system? I mean, it could be done. It could be set up that way. They have algorithms that control everything else.
Okay, so let's get to the stats here, Dylan. So the United States has 270 million guns, and they've had 90 mass shooters from 1966 to 2012. If we want to look at numbers, right?
Okay, so in a roughly 16-year period.
1966 to 2012. Honey, that's way more than 16.
Well, that's 12 plus 4.
1966 to
Oh,
2012.
I thought you said 96. Okay, so 60. Wow. 1966 to 2012. All right.
Yeah, the United States had 270 million guns and 90 mass shooters. Okay, so when you look at that same period of time, no other country has more than 46 million guns or 18 mass shooters.
Okay.
Right? So that's
Yeah.
behind China, Russia, all the big countries. So if we're looking here at statistics, I mean, obviously the U.S. has a ton of guns, right? We look at the numbers. Americans make up about 4.4% of the population globally, but own 42% of the world's guns.
You goddamn right.
Okay.
Oh.
So at those dates I'm looking at from 66 to 2012, 31% of the gunmen in mass shootings were American, and that is according to a 2015 study from a professor at the University of Alabama named Adam Lankford. So if you adjust for population, only Yemen has a higher rate of mass shootings among countries with more than 10 million people. Yemen has the world's second highest rate of gun ownership behind the United States.
Okay. Per capita.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, there are all these things that people want to point at. And of course, guns is the main one, right? And I think statistically, when you look at the issue, you can blame it on a lot of other factors, but the issue is guns. Guns are the issue.
If you removed all the guns, you think it would go away?
I'm not saying I think that it absolutely would go away, but I'm saying that when you can easily access buying a gun, when all you have to do is show an ID and there are no intensive background checks, this is what happens. I mean, you go through more to buy a dog, to adopt a dog.
Or a car even.
When you buy a car.
Right.
When you apply for a loan. I mean, I'm just saying, accessing guns in America. When you go get a driver's license, I feel like you go through more steps. It is harder to drive than it is to buy a gun.
So you're saying the fact I could go on Walmart right now with a couple $100 and buy a shotgun and some shells and walk out the door with it without waiting, without them doing any kind of a clear or ID check, like the intensive one they do to get that star or whatever on your ID. No waiting period, right? So you think this is the problem, or if you had these steps in place.
Look, I'm a two-way person. I believe everybody should have a right to defend themselves, and I am not going to give up a constitutional right to any of my constitutional rights, and that includes the right to bear arms.
Well, that was my point, because I
fully support gun ownership in this country. I think if you can't, protect your family, yourself, then that's some bullshit, right? You should have every right to protect you and yours,
From the government,
and
even.
especially from the fucking government. And until the government gives up their guns, until you take away guns from law enforcement and you take away military weapons, then you ain't taking away my fucking gun.
Well, see, that's the
Okay?
thing, because the heart of it is home defense, great. But the real heart of that discussion is supposedly the meaning behind the Second Amendment is for local militias and for communities to be able to protect themselves from a tyrannical government, correct?
Yeah.
That's a big part of it. You always hear it. And I'm sorry, but this is... Now, at this point in my life, I feel like my government's more tyrannical than ever. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah. So it would make sense why there's now, and I'm not. Look,
These are hard discussions. We're trying to have it, but this is okay.
I know this is going to come off crazy, but I
Uh-oh.
am saying it is by design that we have these mass shootings.
Okay, let's talk
Okay?
about that. Let's lean into
It is
that.
by design that here now, all of a sudden, you have 17 mass shootings in 1 week, and we're back to the conversation of we got to take the guns, we got to take the guns away.
There you go.
And here you go.
Okay.
You've got this fucking economy that sucks.
Hyperinflation.
Okay. You've got an attack on women from every direction.
Attack on the very definition of what it means to be a woman. Can we, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to make anybody mad. Can anyone believe in 2022 that there are people out there that have a discussion about what it means to be a woman? I'm sorry, it's not hard to figure out what the definition of a woman is. Abortion, Roe versus Wade's back on the plate. Access to medical care for women's on the plate.
Criminalizing women for having a miscarriage.
Hyper violence. Rapists still getting fucking, very minimal charges for what they really should be getting for attacking women. I mean, over and over, the revolving door of fucking abusers and people who perpetrate violence on women in our justice system. I mean, women are under attack. I'm sorry. I don't know who doesn't agree with that.
Wage gap. Further and further and further apart here. You got the richest 1%. We just came out of this pandemic with the rich making fucking record profits and more money than ever while workers are struggling. We're now dealing with this fucking recession and people are like, oh, there's not going to be... You got to be kidding me. There's housing crisis everywhere. Locally, there was a recent news article about how in the area where we live...
18 counties.
18 counties. 9 of those 18 counties, they could not find a multifamily unit apartment available for less than $1,600.
No, less than 1% of rentals available in an 18 county area. That's all of Western North Carolina plus some. Less than 1% were what would be considered affordable. And that's comparing the price of rent to the median income of those areas.
And honestly, that's all over. This housing crisis is all over the place. And you have more and more people who are becoming homeless. And these are not like what the stereotypical, this is just like a hobo who lives under the bridge. I mean, back, when I was a kid, we had a handful of homeless men. They were winos. That's what my daddy called them. Winos or hobos, right? And they lived under the bridge and were like the kind who probably hopped the railroads back in the day,
Right.
There were just a couple of those dudes around and that was it. But now, I mean, you have families, you have people working jobs that are still like struggling, living in vans, living in tents, working 2 or 3 jobs, can't find one, might have money saved, but can't find housing. There was a lady here in our county, a friend of your daughter's, right? Her house, she was renting this house. There was a plumbing situation. Her landlord refused to correct it and then made her move out. Like evicted her because she was complaining that her toilet was literally exploding out feces, right, all over the house. And it's an unsafe, unsanitary condition. She's forced to move out of her house, had a chunk of money, like $5,000 or something, to get into a new place.
Was paying her rent.
Could not find a new place to live, though she had money saved, and was forced to go live in a camper with her children because that is the only thing she could find.
That was the only viable option.
It was the only thing available to her.
Is that not scary?
And that is happening all over the place. The other night we were out, and my friend, she works with the homeless in our town. She works at like a shelter, and pointed out a fella. She knows him. She's known him for some time. She's like, that's blah blah blah, and she's pointed to a van in the parking lot, and she's like, he's living in his van right now, and explains to me he's a guy who works 40 hours a week, works a job, goes to work every morning, cannot find a place to live that is affordable, and has been living in his van for like a couple of months now. But still managing to like get up and go to work and try.
So back
and
to
that's everywhere, right?
it is
So
everywhere.
you've got all of these conditions happening. People are fucking traumatized. I mean, it was traumatic enough to go through the pandemic, right?
Yeah, but you still see articles. The U.S. is not going into a recession.
You have all of these factors working against us in every way, right? But then you've got the guns. We have to take the guns. And it's like, well, of course, because you don't want those people to get tired of the shit and rise up. So
there you
now's
go.
the perfect time to pluck the guns away.
So that's what bothers me about these mass shootings, besides the fact they happen. It's horrible. Random violence, the worst kind of violence in my book. The timing. I just can't. There's a part of my logical brain
The timing's always perfect.
that cannot get away from the timing. As soon as anyone has the guts to ask the president or anybody in the administration or anybody, leaders of the Republican or Democratic Party, hard fucking questions about inflation, about wages, about health care, about anything, as soon as the tide just turns in the least little bit, there's a mass shooting. And we all forget it, and that's all we talk about. Every single time. The Vegas shooting. That was one of the strangest mass shootings in our country. You had this guy who was a fairly normal guy, a successful millionaire even, all of a sudden do this huge fucking crime, from this hotel, elevated position, this hotel, shoot all these automatic weapons, all these different sounding weapons going off at once, which was weird. Some people even reported seeing helicopters in the air. Don't know if that's true. And then that was gone out of the news so fucking fast, it's not even funny. And it happened at a perfect moment when we were starting to talk about, hey, wait a second. When the 99% said, wait 1 second. And we started saying, even thinking about questioning what's going on in our country. And then boom, you got that, and now the conversation goes away. And here we are once again. We're at hyperinflation, the things you described, food insecurity, the baby formula issue, all these things. But then they take pictures of stores in Mexico. Like, Americans love to look down on Mexico. I think it's beautiful and has great parts, many great people
Wonderful
there.
Culture.
I mean, I sound like Trump, but no, they really are a wonderful culture. I've known many Hispanic people, great people, very loving. You have a lot of fun if you're ever
have a lot of Hispanic people in your family, Dylan.
Yeah, if you ever have the opportunity to have a good friend and go to their house or, celebrate with them and their family, don't pass it up. Great people. Beautiful country. But then you have pictures of, Costco's in Mexico, fucking baby formula stacked to the fucking roof. But here in America, all of a sudden, there's just no baby formula. This is all by design. How far out are we from the worst part of the pandemic? Does it still exist? COVID sure does. We're all going to get it eventually because that's the way this type of virus works or whatever it is. But we're still having these intense, significant supply chain issues all over the place. It's always blamed on, it was COVID. Oh, it was the pandemic. Well, we're getting outside of that by months and months and months now, the worst part of that. You're telling me these huge businesses and stuff haven't recovered? And they always blame the workers, right? Oh, I can't find any good help. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't know.
I mean, sure, but like 1 million people or whatever died. But cool, yeah, let's blame it. It's just Joe Schmo next door who don't want to come to your shit job and work for minimum wage.
I think this is all by design. And how would anyone control the timing of these shoots? Let's talk about that for a second. So people's out there, you're talking about the timing, but that was just a crazy fucking person, who you didn't know when they was going to do it. What are your thoughts on that? How could you orchestrate or push someone into this to do something like this at a time that's beneficial for you?
Look, we all know our government, many governments, have been working on these PSYOPs plans for decades.
Oh my God.
MK Ultra, for example. And I know I sound like a lunatic.
Let's go.
And there's somebody out there who's like, this bitch cray. and I am a little bit, but I am currently on my meds, so I'm not going to attribute it to my mental illness.
She's medicated.
I am medicated. But you can't tell me that there are not psyops, like mass psyops, being performed on Americans.
It's obvious, and we could spend 3 hours talking about that. We're not going to get too far into that, and I'm sure some people's already
And if
switched.
you're asking psyops, psychological operations, the military conducts them all the time.
I'm sure some people's already switched this episode off, and that's fine. And we hope that if you haven't and you're kind of not feeling it, hey, come back next week. We'll be back where we need to be on the true crime. But this is serious, people. This is serious, and these things are really happening.
So our U.S. government has these psyop, psychological operations. They are to induce or reinforce behavior perceived to be favorable to U.S. objections.
There you go.
Okay? They are proven. You'll be an expert at persuasion. You'll assess and develop this information needed to influence and engage when you become part of psyops as a specialist. I mean, this is a job in the military. You can join the Army as a psyop specialist.
Okay.
Right? Now, you're not telling me that we have, some psychological warfare. I mean, that includes like propaganda, things to influence opinions, emotions, attitudes, behavior. They've been studying this shit for years, and they've been implementing it. And it would make sense that there is some mass, large-scale psyops campaign in this country that is, I guess, inducing this behavior.
Yeah, there you go. At the height of MK Ultra, and we might cover this at even more length on Batshit Crazy. Okay, we need to get that going again. But they would tear someone down psychologically. They would use drugs such as LSD and other substances to induce, to fracture, literally fracture their personality and their mind. And then they would put it all back together. But they would basically put like a switch inside of you, a verbal switch, that they could literally tell you a series of words or something, some strange phrase, the hippopotamus loves mountain murders. Something to that degree. Yes, true.
Manchurian candidate shit.
And then you unknowingly commit an act that's been pre-programmed in your brain. And I know on its surface that sounds insane.
A great example. You've probably seen Zoolander. If you haven't, you need to watch it. So Derek Zoolander.
That's your example.
Well, I think it's a basic,
Okay.
simple explanation, Dylan, that most folks can understand.
Okay.
Right? Even our most basic person.
Okay.
I'm not calling you stupid, but I am.
No, I'm not stupid.
Why? I mean, who said I? Maybe I was just speaking in the second person.
Give me my catchphrase, and I'll show you what happens.
Derek Zoolander, right? He is programmed to kill the Malaysian prime minister.
Right.
When he hears Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
Which is a dangerous phrase because I say that all the time.
No, I'm saying the band Frankie Goes to Hollywood, not the phrase.
Oh.
See, are you trying to argue that you're not stupid? He hears relax. Don't do it.
When you want to come.
Right? So then that's when he kills the Malaysian prime minister, right? Or am I totally wrong? I might have my songs screwed up. Anyway, I'm just saying that could be happening.
Okay, so right quick. The modern day version of this. You have a handler, someone trained in SOPs, right? They comb through these 4chans, this U-boat area, these places, these rooms where people congregate online. This makes it even easier for them, by the way. And they find these people who act a certain way, who talk a certain way, and they befriend this person, right? They slide in the DMs, but they're not looking for dick pics or anything like that, or meeting up and hooking up for sex. What they want to do is get this person's confidence, right? So they see this broken person who has mental issues, who talks crazy, right? They have this person who has a certain profile, right? This is all scientifically figured out for them, the perfect person, and they get in their head, right? They start, I agree with you. Right? I agree. Women are this, or, your parents are doing that, or, society's some shit, man. Everything you're saying is right. Right? Reinforcing this person's already a destabilized mental situation. And at a certain point, to the point, gaining their confidence in such a way, all backed by psychological science and all this other fucked up shit. You should do it today. you should show them, right? You should make them remember you. You know, everybody discounts you, but today's the day. Tomorrow's the day. You should show them. Your grandmother's a piece of shit. She treats you like hell, right? She'll never respect you. But get that gun. Remember, you like the gun. The gun could make them respect you.
That's it, Ed Kemper. Cut off your mom's head and have sex with it.
Boom. Oh, dude, that was kind of creepy, right? Because that felt real. But this is how it could happen in a modern day MK Ultra program, right?
Who's to say that they can't send some sort of signal through your fucking phone
well, that
to
would
activate your brain? That maybe they're playing Frankie Goes to Hollywood over your phone, and that makes you snap.
Well, I'm just trying to break it down into, you know, for people who haven't like been knee deep in MK Ultra. And let's not forget Operation Paperclip, right? When we brought all the Nazi scientists who were doing all these horrible experimentation on humans, very horrible, unethical shit, the worst stuff you could even think of. And we absorbed those scientists into our various fields of science here in America. They had a big hand in the propulsion jet engine parts of NASA, and I'm sure they had a big hand. They brought all their information with. That's one thing scientists are going to do, right? Ooh, what you were doing was gross and weird and unethical, but bring your notebook, right?
Well, let's face it, that's one way that we know as much about the reproductive system as we do today and have the women's health care that we did today because of horrific eugenics and horrible experiments that were being done on women of color.
Holy shit.
For decades.
Great point.
I mean,
there you go.
Right?
There you go.
So we arrive at a common good, but it comes from these places of like horrific science,
right,
and just horrific shit, but then it serves a greater good. So, you know, I guess when you get into an ethical discussion of that, I mean, there's many layers to it, and we're not here to talk about that. I'm not a philosopher today.
Okay, so let's move on. This
okay,
is
for
huge.
example, Saran, normal
Yes.
guy,
a patriot,
Palestinian, patriot, came to America, proud to be an American, never had any feelings about the United States, never spoke ill about it, just randomly all of a sudden shoots Robert F. Kennedy, or was his name Robert F.? Yes, it was Robert F., at the Ambassador Hotel in L.A. in 1968. And to this day, still is like, I don't remember what happened.
Yeah, so to really get a good look and understanding of what she's talking about there, you can listen to the RFK tapes, a podcast, a very, very interesting podcast. And he was, like she said, a patriot. He loved America more than me and Heather. I mean, this guy loved it. He came to this country, had a little bit of success.
This guy would have been the first at the Toby Keith concert in the front row,
right,
wearing his red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
He wanted to stick a boot in the ass of those people who did not love the USA.
And then
he's that guy.
Flick of a switch, in a matter of, I think, a couple of week period before the assassination of Robert Kennedy, he is all of a sudden has a gun. His brother don't remember him ever being into guns before then. He's going to the shooting range, right? Now he's gun guy, just out of nowhere. And then all the way through, you follow through the events there at the hotel after the California primary, and we know how that turned out. And there's all very strange happenings and characters, the woman in the polka dot dress and all this stuff, almost like there was handlers for him there present that night.
We sound nuts right now.
I don't care.
I will never not believe that the Sirhan fellow, that was not part of some MK Ultra conspiracy theory. I will always believe that there was some sort of psyop involved in that shooting. And I fucking believe it's happening right now, and it's all by design. Because think about this, Dylan. How many times have we heard politicians and folks out there, they want to dismantle public schools. Public schools are a huge cost.
It's one of the biggest.
To counties.
Yeah.
To states and to federal government. Think of all the money that is poured into public education.
A shitload.
Okay?
But we still don't get a good end product.
We've had politicians fight for years to privatize education, vouchers, which we know what's going to happen. The rich will educate their kids, and then the poor, like you and me, won't have educated kids and will be the worker bees. It's the lords and the serfs all over again, right?
How has for-profit healthcare worked out so far for us?
Well, it's not.
For-profit education will be the same.
It's going to be some shit, right? And most people know that. And even though we're getting the bare minimum when it comes to public education and it just keeps declining. I mean, I hate to say it, but sometimes my child will say something and I'm like, what are you even talking about? Like, she doesn't know, 16 years old, and like didn't know what the governor's job
They have
was.
no idea
I mean, I
about
have to explain
anything.
things to her that I'm thinking, dude, you're not learning this in school.
Yeah.
And it's on purpose so that
Dumb.
parents will pull their kids out of school, and you see more and more of it. You see parents homeschooling. We had the pandemic. They tested out the hybrid learning, the online learning. They want to dismantle public education.
The rise of
And
charter schools.
what is a great way to do that? I'm telling you, all these things are linked together. Dismantle public schools because you are fucking afraid to send your kids to school because you're scared to death that some crazy pants is going to come and shoot up the school. And if it's happening every fucking day, all week long, every other day you're having a mass shooting at a school, eventually it's going to happen at your school, right? Parents are fucking scared. I'm scared to send my children to school. I'm afraid every day. I drop them off and think, I hope they're going to be safe.
And that's crazy.
And I shouldn't have to feel that way as a parent. And I'm not the only one. Other parents are feeling that way. And more people are taking their kids out of school. We had recently, and I keep bringing up our local community, they're having a budget issue. And they are going to have to eliminate like a certain number of teachers that were funded by the county.
That
Because
doesn't
the
add up
county
for me.
can't afford to pay those teachers because enrollment is down. And, they're asking the superintendent, why is enrollment down? Well, I don't know why enrollment's down. There's a couple reasons. One, people have moved out of this area because they can't afford to live here anymore.
There's no good jobs.
Two, people have pulled after COVID and people have done homeschooling. More people are pulling their kids out of school and they're doing online learning and they're doing homeschool. Therefore, they're not getting the funds. The public schools are not getting the funds they need, and they're not getting the money at the county level, whatever. They have to pay teachers out of pocket, I guess, because they're not getting those federal dollars. So they're paying the teachers out of the pocket at the local level. Can't afford to do that. We have to get rid of these teachers. So I'm telling you, these school shootings, this is by design to dismantle public schools.
So, what messing me up about that, though, is property taxes are usually the largest chunk of funding for your local schools. Yes, there's some federal aid. And yes, they do get a credit per student. I don't know if that's at the federal level or state level.
I believe it's a federal level.
Okay, so they get a credit
I know
per
I have
student.
teachers yelling at me right now.
Yeah, but
I'm pretty sure
Jenny can explain this to us, I'm sure. We'll ask her, our Discord fam. But the property taxes in your local area is where a lot of your local funding comes from.
Well, that's where like capital improvement projects have to come out of county coffers.
Well, our property taxes here are through the roof and way out of control. Right? So it seems to me like those coffers would be larger than ever. Now, maybe that's earmarked for specific infrastructure or something like that, but it still doesn't add up. But we know what's happening here on our local level. Since we want to put it all on the line, is they don't want young families. They don't want to improve greenways and parks. They don't want to improve schools. They've gutted all the good jobs, which is what brings the young families, right? Young people have a good job. They start a family.
No,
they
want
kids.
second homers. They want this to be a tourism-driven economy.
Yes.
They want second homers here and retirees because then they don't have to fund schools.
Yes.
They don't have the wear and tear on the roads.
Right.
They won't have the crime.
You don't have to expand the greenways. You don't have to have infrastructure for the locals to use. You don't have to do any of that.
Right.
So that's being done on purpose as well.
So you can't tell me that some of this isn't in part to dismantle public education.
I mean, do we even have time to talk about more? I mean,
well, why
people,
not?
okay, let's go.
We can talk about this all day.
Let's go. So, okay, so mass shootings. We got that.
So you brought up mental health. Now, Dylan, I'm going to dispute that mental health is the driving factor here. If mental health made the difference, then data would show that Americans have more mental health problems than people do in other countries with fewer mass shootings, right?
Okay, shit, preach, sister.
So you're just saying people in America were fucking nuts, but that's not the case.
No, some people.
Because the mental health care spending rate in the United States, the number of mental health professionals per capita, and the rate of severe mental disorders are in line with other wealthy countries. So we're as average as all the other countries in the world that are leading in wealth and industry and yeah.
Okay, I mean, statistics don't lie, but they can be sometimes misleading. I'm not saying those are. But I mean, okay, the way I see it, our mental health, what we did have in place was basically dismantled under the Reagan administration.
Well, yeah, but
Okay.
you're also saying that, but then look at the mental health that we did have, Dylan. We've covered asylums. Look at how
It
the
wasn't
mentally ill
good.
were fucking
Okay.
treated in this country. So what? We've taken away a system that was these institutions and the system that was already
Okay.
fucking bullshit.
It was violent
That
and
was
horrible.
horrible.
Okay.
So, I mean, really, was it a crime to dismantle those asylums and the
Okay.
ways they were treating people?
I've known people who had severe problems, but they just couldn't seem to get real help. And I'm not talking about some online counselor or some, substance abuse counselor or, how hard is it to find a true psychotherapy or stuff? I mean, I think me and you personally find it it doesn't seem to
Okay.
be set up like
Well,
that.
okay, to play devil's advocate here, we do live in a rural area where we're lacking in healthcare altogether. But if you look at healthcare as a whole, Dylan, how many fucking times it don't matter where you live. If you live in a city and you go to the doctor, they're going to treat you like shit. They send you home. They don't give you any answers. You're spending thousands and thousands of dollars to try to get an answer to a problem. People who have health issues, they can go to a doctor a million times and never get an answer about what's going on with them. So it's not just mental health, it's just healthcare in general in this country sucks.
Okay.
Right?
Well, I mean,
So I think you have to look at that. Mental health falls into the healthcare system as a whole.
it's true.
And I talk to people day in and day out who say, man, I went to the doctor with this, some sort of internal issue and got told like I should just, have more fiber in my life and got sent home. And then, 6 weeks later, my appendix exploded and I just about died.
Right.
Right. So I think that healthcare and mental health care suck just in general.
Oh, see, okay. So to be clear, I agree with what you're saying, and that's great points you're making. When I say mental health, it's really in certain instances when there is someone with a history of mental health issues. And I don't mean their parents said they was a bad, weird kid. I mean, you've been institutionalized. I mean, you've threatened to self-harm. I mean, it's documented that you have this history of true mental health episodes, right? But then you can turn around and go buy a gun and those systems aren't connected.
Well, there's that.
That's the breakdown
Okay,
part for
so
me.
yeah,
That-
that is the breakdown.
Yeah, it should throw up a flag and say, wait a minute, this person has either a history of violence or a history of mental health. I mean, these computer systems and algorithms could do this if we wanted them to do it, right? If Blizzard can sell 2 billion games in a day.
I guess I shouldn't be calling crazy people nuts or crazy.
No.
Because I'm crazy, so I can
But
say that, I
if
guess.
Blizzard can sell 2 billion, on
we're
a digital
offensive.
copies
We don't care.
in a day, then these systems could be made to interact with each other. See, that's my point with mental health.
Well, no,
That's the breakdown.
that is part of the fucking problem. Again, back to this thing where you can just easily go in a store and show an ID and they might run some little teeny tiny background check
Right.
on you, and then here you get to leave with your gun, or you might have to wait a day and then here's your gun.
What's wrong with waiting 10 days?
Right?
Right.
They're not interviewing people. They're not asking about your mental health. They're not pulling medical records.
Right.
They are not
There you go.
thoroughly-
That's a
they're-
problem.
They're not thoroughly investigating and vetting gun owners.
They're not enforcing the laws on
especially
the
when
books.
it comes to particular weapons like the AR-15, which is used in the majority of these mass shootings. Dylan, in 2015, there was a study that estimated only 4% of American gun deaths could be attributed to mental health issues.
Okay.
So that's not even the problem. Okay, so back to that study I told you about, the University of Alabama guy, Mr. Langford,
Mm-hmm.
right? So in an email to the New York Times, he said that countries with high suicide rates tended to have low rates of mass shooting. So that's the opposite of what you would expect if mental health problems correlated with mass shootings.
Well, I think you're comparing apple. I don't know. It's tricky. I'm no expert, and I don't want to piss anyone off, but I think it's apples and oranges. Someone who's depressed and wants to self-harm, I think, is a different type of mental health issue than someone who wants to go out and kill women because they can't get fucked. Okay? That's different. That person's fucking kooky. This person has severe depression, unfortunately, and goes so far as to commit suicide.
Yeah, but again, only 4% of those shootings are attributed to a mental health issue. So we want to say this person's mentally ill that commits a mass shooting, But they're not necessarily a mentally ill person, Dylan, is what I'm trying to say to you. That has been a narrative that's been pushed,
Well, I'm
but
saying, but
that's not necessarily true.
when you know it is this person has this history and they can go out and buy a gun easily, that's a problem. That's all I'm saying. Those systems should be interconnected.
Okay, but still,
That's not going to stop all the mass shootings.
but that's still not going to stop if you've got a small portion of mentally ill people who are committing the mass shootings. Okay, so they don't get access to a gun legally, but then there are illegal guns.
That's much
And
harder
only
to acquire.
Are you sure?
Can you go out and get an illegal, unregistered gun right now off the street?
Yeah, I do.
You can?
I do know people I could get a fucking gun from if I wanted one.
The fuck? Okay.
I know I am from the South and I know rednecks, all right? And there are guns everywhere. And if I wanted to buy one from somebody, when you buy a gun outright from somebody, you don't have to register it.
Well, it's true. I won one on a tip board at work.
So you're trying to tell me that you can't access a gun like
I
under
know.
the table illegally, like an unregistered firearm?
I won one on tip board at work.
My daddy goes to this damn gas station and hangs out on Saturday mornings, and all they do is go down there and sell and trade guns with each other.
And the guy met me in the parking lot of a restaurant, gave me the brand new pistol, a high capacity 45, brand new, really nice gun. It was sexy. Should have kept it. But
you don't have to tell people you don't have it.
it was who said I don't have another gun? Fuck them. But anyway, it was unregistered to me. I never filled out a speck of paperwork, so I could have took that gun directly.
So really, you're going to ask me this question? If I can go
and
get a
commit
gun?
a crime.
Yeah, I can get a gun.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
Fucker, I can get a gun. You got a gun. They gave you a damn gun. Something's wrong in this country if they're giving somebody who just sits and looks all day a gun.
Well, don't come nowhere near my porch because that's the only place I can shoot you from. Because I'm sitting and looking. So, what is the right quick? What's the answer? What
Why
helps?
do we have to say right quick? Because this is not something that can be said right quick, Dylan.
What's the answer
Well,
on gun? Is it access?
Will
is
you
it,
let me go through my points before you open your mouth and tell me to rush?
Oh, I'm not trying to rush you.
Jesus.
Okay, let's do it.
A lot of people want to attribute like video games. Like that's why there are mass shootings. But Americans don't play any more video games than people in other developed countries. So that's not the answer, right? A lot of people say it's radical diversity or other factors associated with social cohesion that correlate with gun deaths.
Radical diversity. That's
but
weird.
in European countries, there is little association between immigration or like diversity among rates of gun murders or mass shootings.
I don't think.
So what that means, Dylan, is people want to say, for example, in the United States, it's the illegals coming into this country and bringing guns.
Oh, it's the bad hombres.
The bad hombres of the world. And so what I'm saying to you is that radical diversity does not have anything to do, immigration doesn't have anything to do with gun murders or mass shootings.
Okay.
So that's another thing that's out the window, right?
Statistically, yes.
When you say it like
Well,
that.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm saying according to the stats, these are all kind of you're kind of deflating a lot of the things that are used to either support or argue against having or what's the cause? Are we inherently violent as a nation? That's another big discussion.
When you look at America's gun homicide rate, which is 33 per million people in 2009, that far exceeds the average among other developed countries. In Canada and Britain, it was 5 per million. So 33 versus 5. I mean, Americans sometimes see this as like, oh, well, we have deeper problems with crime, which, you can attribute that to like films from the 90s. Like there's all this gang violence in the U.S.
There's gang violence everywhere.
Right? But the United States is not actually more prone to crime than other developed countries. In data that has been repeatedly confirmed over the last 2 decades, American crime is just more lethal. Like a New Yorker, for example, is just as likely to be robbed as a person in London or in Paris. But the New Yorker is 54 times more likely to be killed in the process.
Oh, damn, that's interesting. So, and these okay.
So when you look at the discrepancies in all of developed countries, and you look at mental health, and you look at video games, and you look at media, you look at all these things that like, this is why we're so violent here in the United States. The only discrepancy that comes down to this American violence is guns, is the guns themselves, is because we have so many. More gun ownership corresponds with more gun murders across every axis, among developed countries, among American states, among American towns and cities, and when controlling for crime rates. A gun control legislation tends to reduce gun murders, and that is a recent analysis that has been studied from 130 countries, that the more guns you have, the more violence you have.
Okay.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
but I don't.
guns themselves cause violence. If you're okay, here, let's just, for an example, right? You don't have access to a gun. You don't live in a country where it's easy to get a gun, where you can just go buy a gun, right? So let's say we don't have as many guns here. If somebody robs you, they could rob you with a knife. But, you know, you hand over your money, whatever. But the likelihood that they're just going to stab you to death on the street. But how easy is it to just pull out a gun and shoot somebody in a fit of violence? I mean, guns are so easy. It's so easy to use and so deadly, I guess is my point. And that is not to say that if we take guns away, people won't find other means of killing. We've got the guy who drove into the Christmas parade. You know, we've got people who go into schools with a hammer. We've got mass stabbings. We have some random person on the subway stabbing people. I mean, those things are going to happen. But access to all these guns, like 240 million guns, that's definitely going to lead to gun violence. I mean, I think it's just common sense.
Okay, so I mean, I don't. But what's the answer? Just take everyone's gun away? Because look what they're doing to people in Australia.
I'm not
Look what they're
saying
doing in
take guns
Canada.
away. I believe everybody should have a right to protect themselves, Dylan. I'm just saying that there needs to be a more intensive background check of these people, and we should just not be like, hey, oh, your toddler wants a gun, here's a gun. And people will argue and say, oh, regulations, blah, blah, blah. But they should be fucking regulated. A weapon as deadly as a gun should be regulated in that you should not be able to buy a gun in the same day. There should be waiting periods, and people should be thoroughly vetted before they can own a fucking gun.
I agree with that. And that's
so
the
I
sense
think
of,
that's some of the problem.
That's the sensible reform that I don't see why everyone can't get on board with that. You see what I'm saying? Because I don't care if my responsible gun owning neighbor who's not crazy or who's not doesn't have mental health issues, should I say, has a gun, 50 guns, 20,000 rounds of ammo. If that's what you want to spend your money on, have at it. You know what I'm saying? Cool. Do you? But here's one of the ways I would stop school shooting. See, it's one of the common sense approaches I do. Make a school not a soft target. Huh? Perimeter fence, barbed wire, security guards at the gates, letting people in and out, especially after
So now we want kids to essentially go to a prison for school?
Well, nobody comes in there, runs in there and shoots them. That's crazy?
Yeah.
You think that's crazy?
I think that's crazy.
Just leave them wide open.
That seems fucking traumatic to me, to send a fucking little kid who already has apprehension about going to school and cries every morning because they have to go to kindergarten when it's a friendly, happy place with a playground and open and, oh, look, there's pretty flowers and it's very welcoming. You're going to put up barbed wire fences, razor wire, and have armed guards like it's a that is not the answer, Dylan.
What about private security that is more robust than
Who's
these
gonna
school
pay for
resources?
it?
I don't give a fuck.
Who's gonna pay for
We
it?
send $100 billion to the Ukraine.
We're not. Nobody in this country is gonna. We can't even fund the schools. We were just talking about laying off teachers and
No,
underfunded.
we don't
They're
have.
not going to pay for security.
We don't want to fund the schools. We have billions and tens of billions to send everywhere else while we are starving out in this country, while working poor is getting worse, while hyperinflation guts us all.
Well, again, okay, because we're fucked as a country, Dylan, and we're not going to reprioritize our money. This is what the system wants. The system wants this to happen, and that's what's happening. And people are too caught up in the minute details of this or that. arguing over dumb shit or worried about Will Smith slapping somebody or what Kim Kardashian wore to some fucking award
Who
show
cares, right?
or, what Johnny Depp said about his mega pint on the stand,
It's a mega pint.
than to worry about actually making change and moving forward with some of these ideas.
I agree.
I mean, okay.
That's well
back
put.
to some statistics, right? In 2013, American gun-related deaths included 21,175 suicides, over 11,000 homicides, and 505 deaths caused by accidental discharge.
See, that's one thing when you say you hear, oh, there was $30-some thousand or 30-some thousand gun deaths. When you break it down like that, it sounds a little different, doesn't it?
It does. Now, that same year in Japan, a country with 1/3 of America's population, guns were involved in only 13 deaths. So, less guns, less deaths by gun.
Okay.
Because they don't have access to them.
But, I mean, are suicide rates less? I mean, there's some other information. Or do they have way less people commit suicide? But just
by
not
gun?
by gun?
Because there's only 13 deaths, bro.
No, I'm saying, but are the people still committing suicide at a similar rate?
Are we talking about suicides or are we talking about gun deaths? What are we talking about? Like, that's you want to talk about apples to oranges, as a completely different issue, buddy. We're not talking about suicides. We are talking about gun-related deaths. And I'm telling you, in Japan, they only had 13 gun-related deaths. Now, I don't know how many people jumped off a building or went to the suicide forest and hung themselves or...
Ooh, the suicide forest.
The Harry-Carry? I don't
Wow.
know.
Whoa, bud.
I don't know who did that, right? Because we ain't talking about that. We're talking about guns.
So you were saying, okay, so we had 11,000 homicides, correct?
Yes.
And I think a lot of that's connected to gang violence, sadly.
Now, this means that an American is about 300 times more likely to die by gun homicide or accident than a Japanese person. And America's gun ownership rate is 150 times as high as Japan's. And that gap between 150 and 300 shows that gun ownership statistics alone do not explain, why America is different, right?
Okay.
The United States has some of the weakest controls over who may buy a gun and what sorts of guns may be owned.
Well,
so
see,
that is where the problem lies.
An 18-year-old should not be able to go buy any type of gun.
I mean, that is where the problem lies, is that we don't have control over the guns, who's buying the guns. It's just a free-for-all, and what kind of guns can be owned. Because in these other countries... there's certain stuff you're not allowed to have a fucking military grade weapon. You're not allowed to have an automatic weapon.
Right. But we need that. I mean, that's what people say. We need that to fight the government. But I'm like, bro, they got drones that can hit your house or your compound, whatever you want to call it, the 3 double-wide trailers tied together from fucking 10,000 feet. So I don't think your AR is going to help you against the government.
When you look at
That's what people say.
They have the second highest gun ownership rate of any developed country, which is about half that of half of the United States, right? So Switzerland, they got fucking guns everywhere, right? Same as the US, but they still have a fraction of the murder rate and crime rate of the United States for gun violence. Their laws are much more stringent. They set a higher bar for securing and keeping a license, for selling guns, and for the types of guns that can be owned. Such laws reflect more than just tighter restrictions, Dylan. They imply a different way of thinking about guns as something that citizens have to earn the right to own a gun. By meeting these certain standards.
That's
and
okay.
I'm getting all of this information from the New York Times, by the way. So
okay. See,
I
like that.
Plagiarizing some gun shit. I'm just trying to prove a point here.
No, I'm for that.
So I think that is where the problem lies, is that we are not vetting people. It's our right to gun ownership, or the protocols are so weak.
Right. There you go. I think that's the heart of the issue. I see more of what exactly you mean now. It's not.
I mean, I think
it's
you
not
have to
take
say,
everyone's guns.
You have to determine that unregulated gun ownership, is that worth the cost to society?
Right.
Right.
Right. No, so some kids shouldn't be able to, because I'm sorry, if you're 17, 18, 19, you're still a kid in my book. You shouldn't be able to go buy these types of weapons and ammo. I'm sorry. You can't, now you can't even get a damn pack of cigarettes, right? Can't get a pack of cigarettes, can't buy a beer, but I can go in the store and buy a fucking rifle? That doesn't add up for me. Okay?
Well, I think when Sandy Hook happened and we saw little children killed at an
Well,
elementary school,
yep.
small children murdered in Connecticut by a gunman, once as a nation, we didn't take action then and decide that this is unbearable, that this is something we won't tolerate. We didn't take a stand then. Now as a country, we have just accepted that gun violence in our schools, that our children not being safe in schools is just fucking acceptable. That it's something we're willing to live with.
Well, I'd argue what's more traumatic, a kid going to school scared they're going to get shot every day or a barbed wire fence. And I will plug Accurate Fence right now. I will work at a discount price for all schools.
Again, I think it's an effort to dismantle public schools.
So gets back to the gun thing's happening so much. We have to discuss it. It's crime, right? It's true crime. It's horrible. It's a societal ill. It's terrorism. Let's be honest.
It is terrorism.
It terrorizes entire communities. If you go around daily with the back of your mind that this might happen, that's what terrorists do, okay? That's the type of violence they perpetrate on citizens. And this is being done to us.
And it's terrorizing women. It's terrorizing children. It's terrorizing minorities. You've got the guy in Atlanta who shot the Asian community, the spa workers.
Well, you had the guy in Brooklyn.
You've got the guy in Buffalo who shot at the supermarket, and the guy in Brooklyn.
Well, see, here's the thing. Here's where I know that they have a story. They have the way they want to go, because the guy in Brooklyn targeted Asians and white people.
Are you talking about the subway shooter?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was targeting Asians and white people, and he has plenty of a long history online of talking fucking crazy, racist bullshit, right? And they did not lead the story as a hate crime. Okay, now this is where it gets like touchy to talk about, but this is how they're doing to us to keep us separated as the 99%. They didn't talk about, oh, this is a hate crime. This guy, they were just like, oh, this guy shot some people on the subway, right? And I'm like, wow, that was a hate crime too. I don't understand. And he's a piece of shit, and he should be, properly sentenced and have the proper charges, and all that. And it just doesn't fit their narrative of this racial narrative where they use this racial wedge they use to keep us suspicious of each other.
Well, it's all by design.
It's by design.
They don't want us to become one. They don't want us to be a collective group of citizens. I mean, there is more that unites us
than separates
us. But this narrative keeps on keeping on, doing what it's designed to do, which is to divide us, to make us feel nervous and anxious and worry about the person next door. And you brought up gang violence, so then we're automatically to assume that all the violence that's perpetrated by guns in this country has to be gangs, so that has to be associated with people of color, right? When we see the majority of the mass shooters are fucking white.
Well, the mass shooters, but when you speak of overall gun deaths in a year, a lot of it can be attributed to gang violence. And that's not saying it's just black and brown people, bud.
See, but again, Dylan, it's this idea that you're only getting violence in these communities, and it's not in my community.
Well, yeah, I see what you're saying.
So again, it's creating this idea that it's just it's just a problem in those communities.
Well, I have a problem with every person who takes a gun and kills a human being. And I don't care who they are, what color they are, what the circumstances are. Well, yeah, are the majority of mass shooters young white males? Yeah. I mean, how could you not know that? I mean, how could a person argue against that? It's the truth. This is domestic terrorism. It's no different than a gang that fucking terrorizes an entire neighborhood into submission and has everybody afraid to, cooperate with police or anything like that. It's just it's an atrocity.
And, yeah. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I've ranted enough.
No, it's okay. You did good. Yeah. So let's just wrap this up. You have anything else? I'll wrap this. My preamble, or is this I don't know. It's the post show, whatever. We have a lot of problems in this country, right? The world's fucked. And I believe it all comes back to the powers that be, and that is not Biden, that is not Trump, that is not Schumer, that's not fucking Mitch McConnell.
It's not Nancy Pelosi and her
It's
drunk
not.
husband.
It's not Nancy Pelosi and her drunk ass husband up in wine country.
Driving his Porsche.
His 2021
Okay.
Porsche.
Can I just say,
Oh,
when
yeah.
I saw this headline, like, oh, Nancy Pelosi's husband gets pulled over for drunk driving in his Porsche, I was like, this is what's wrong with fucking American politics.
2021 Porsche.
The fact that you have this politician and her fucking husband, and he's driving his Porsche, drinking and driving, and yeah,
In Napa wine country.
yeah,
Yeah. Right.
fucking elitist bullshit.
Well,
Anyway.
she's the asshole stood in front of two $12,000 of $24,000 worth of refrigerators and told us how her family likes to get different flavors of ice cream during the pandemic and quarantine. Fuck you, bitch.
The fact that people still vote for that woman, why are you voting for rich old people?
Stop it.
Stop voting for rich old people.
We need young. We need
some poor ass people to get in office that know what it's like to fucking struggle.
Can I say poor smart people? Because when we put the regular,
Well, why are you saying that? Well, that sounds classist, Dylan. That's like saying that poor people ain't smart. That you have to preface it with, why can't we get some poor smart people in office? As if all poor people are stupid. So I'm insulted by that.
Okay, well,
you offended me.
You can
just
be
now.
insulted, but my point of that
I'm
is
offended.
you have people like the Squad who claim to be regular fucking Joe Schmoes, and they don't even fucking aren't even studied up on world policy or political fucking climates around the world.
So that doesn't have anything to do with being intelligent. That has to do with not doing your fucking job, is what that is.
Well, they're done.
So again, I'm offended by your comment.
Oh, I'm sure. Gosh, I'm sure we fucking went all the way around the board today. But hey, what we're people too. We have feelings, and at the end of the day, what it boils down to is we're scared, we're worried, we're struggling, and we know a lot of people out there are that'll hear this, and we just wonder at what point will people wake the fuck up. When will we stop caring what Kim Kardashian's weird ass looks like? When will we stop caring about if
Are you
Amber,
talking specifically about her ass or just her in general?
I don't know what she's done, but it's like
Her ass does look kind of weird.
No, it's they stuff it full of whatever silicone. Yeah, fuck her and her weird ass. Or Amber Heard shitting in Johnny Depp's bed, or Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. And these are things we talk about for weeks at a time. And when are we going to stop? And when are we going to look around and realize that our neighbors, no matter if they're gay, black, brown, how different they are from us, want the same thing as we do, right? You want a clean.
We all bleed the same blood.
You want a clean home, a decent job, access to health
Be
care,
able to take care of your family,
access to fresh food, good food, which they poison us daily with,
keep your children safe,
and a safe place for your kids to go to school and live. We all want that. The 99%. And this system that's funneling so many resources, money's a resource, of course, to the top, 1%. We cannot keep this up. And we quit falling for their fucking tricks, for the racial stuff. And I'm not saying racism doesn't exist. That's not what I'm saying at all. For the misogynistic, the gender fights and all this shit. Because it's all a distraction to keep us separated.
I'm for dragging these rich motherfuckers out in the street and cutting their heads off.
This bitch right here wants to purge.
Profits?
Yeah.
Profits is stolen wages from workers.
Record profits. And I'm okay with a company's got to make money to continue to exist. But when you have quarter after quarter after quarter of record profits, when you're in a system or in a climate that has depressed wages for literal decades, as productivity continues to increase, wages stay flat. That is stolen benefits and wages from workers.
Record profits equal unpaid wages and benefits to workers. Fucking men.
All right, so I'm going to leave on that note. Heather, you want to give your declaration here at the end? Because we love everyone that's listening, and we just wanted to talk about this because we just don't know what's going on, and we didn't even get to half of it. There's not enough time. We'll come back and do it again. Inflation, food insecurity, housing crises, poison water, Fuck me, dude. The corporations have bought and sold our government. We live in a corporatocracy, however the hell you say that. The Great Reset. We're coming out of the pandemic. I mean, my God, what's next? We, at some point, that's one reason they might want our guns, just like Heather did say, is instead of doing some mass shooting on some poor innocent kids, we might end up in fucking Washington and everybody's got a fucking gun. And demanding answers, demanding heads be laid in the guillotine. Okay.
Oh, you want to hear my final thought?
Yes, let's go, Jerry.
Overthrow the bourgeoisie.
Damn.
Off with their heads.
Yes. Earlier, yeah, it's the powers to be. It's the Illuminati. It's the black nobility. It's the whoever. It's the fucking Vatican. It's Rome never
Ancient
died.
bloodlines.
Rome never died.
Ancient bloodlines.
London is the financial center. America is the goon squad, and the Vatican is the religious morality. Rome never died, bro. Let's go.
And what happened? Rome burned to the ground. So that's why I say burn it fucking down, Dylan.
The buildings of Rome, but the ideals of Rome, some believe, still exist to this day. Just like there's Nazis living in the Antarctic and maybe on the backside of the moon.
Well, the city burned. So
they burned the building, but they didn't burn the fucking problems.
that's why this time we take them all out.
Okay. All right. So Heather wants to burn it all down and see what comes up. She wants to be the little plant that grows up through the ashes.
Now, I don't want to be no fucking plant. I want to be the one throwing, as my daughter calls it, the Mazel Tov cocktail.
She wants to be Tank Girl.
Okay?
You look good as Tank Girl.
I do.
Okay, so we love everyone. Thank you for listening. If you made it to the end
I
of
love
this,
y'all, but I'm fucking mad.
she's going to beat my ass, bro. But if you listened all the way to the end of this, we appreciate that, and we'll be back next midweek.
If we didn't lose like half of our listeners.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes you just got to say it, and this was not meant to offend.
You know what? It's best said from a line in Risky Business, because I love to always refer back to like an 80s film. Sometimes you just got to say fuck it and make your move.
Yeah, it's true. But no, we didn't meant no disrespect. We're worried for each and every one out there, no matter political affiliation, your religion, your gender, any of that. We know we can do better, and we can do it together.
So if you want to join my hillbilly army.
The Hillbilly Underground?
Yeah, the Hillbilly Underground. Fucking, yeah. Hell
Okay.
yeah. You want to join my revolutionary group, my militia? I'm accepting everyone. It is very inclusive.
Yes, and bring all your extra
Unless
guns.
you're an asshole, and then you can't come.
Yeah, we won't stand for any bullying or misogyny.
I
I'm
don't
going to
need,
go ahead
I
and
don't
tell
need
you
any
that.
fucking assholes. But if you're like cool, right? Come join. Just come join us.
All right.
Okay? There'll be cornbread for everyone. Everyone will get a piece of cornbread before someone gets 3
2
pieces of cornbread, Dylan.
That's right.
Well, I'm saying 3 because those people at the fucking top are greedy and they're going to take all the cornbread.
They want all the cornbread.
Yeah.
And I want more than crumbs.
You know what? Yeah. You're going to get cornbread and you can have some milk if you choose to have your cornbread and milk.
All right. So enjoy the rest of your week and stay safe.